Hey guys, I'm going to be doing a podcast in my higher dose sauna blanket for the first time ever. Here we go. Okay. Wow. Okay, guys, I know you're like, what the heck's going on? I'll tell you what's going on. I'm in Puerto Rico playing for Indios de Mayaguez for my fourth season. Seven total seasons in Puerto Rico Winterball. That's sick. Why am I doing this in the sauna? I'll tell you why. I had originally scheduled to air my first episode of my podcast, season 9. It was July 1st, then it was August 1st, then it was September 1st, then it was October 1st, then it was November 1st, and I don't even know what today is. The reason I'm doing this episode in the little sauna blanket is because when I'm in Puerto Rico, I bring this bad boy down here. Shout out to Higher Dose. I'll include a little discount P in the description or in the show notes. But the reason why I'm doing it in the sauna is because this is kind of the only time that I have where like I'm not doing anything. And there's times where I need that and I need to disconnect. But I was sitting here thinking the other day, like, frick, I got to do the vlogs. I got to do my clients. I got to do my catch plays, my bullpens, my game outings. I got all these things to do and I just don't have time to podcast. Well, I do. And it's at this point in time. So I spend about 30 minutes in here every single morning. Everyone else is sleeping. We had a Sunday day game, so got to bed at a decent hour. My sleep's been terrible, but we're working on it. We're getting there. I pulled an 81 on Aura this morning, and I was in the green on Whoop, so that's dope. I wanted to give you guys essentially episode 1 of season 9 being an intro to season 9. Talk about a bunch of different things that have been going on. Obviously, taking a few bullet points from the previous 2 episodes that I kind of just scrapped. But I wanted to talk about why I didn't play baseball during the summer. I did play baseball during the summer, but why I didn't play for a professional team during the summer. I want to talk about my experience in Winterball last year and how that left a bad taste in my mouth. I wanted to talk about futuristic plans. I get a lot of questions, and I love you guys for reaching out and asking, but I get a lot of questions about my playing career, my coaching career, what the plan is. So I was just going to treat episode 1 of season 9 kind of just like a little refresher, get you guys up to speed on what's been going on in my melon. I'm just going to use this podcast as, oh, dude, we have a fly. That sucks, man. Why is the fly got to come to... I mean, this whole room is available for flying space. And this fly decides to come right into my little area where my face is. That just sucks. That's not it. Did you hear it? I wonder if you heard it. Anyways, I have no visual, so we're going to proceed into talking. Yeah. I want to start, and then another bulleted point is what's the reason I'm throwing from 3 different arm slots? Man, we better get going because we got a lot to cover. Also, I did just wake up, and this is the first morning of my entire Puerto Rican Winterball experience that is just torrential downpouring outside, and I cannot do my typical beach workout morning routine, and it's really upsetting. And you can see and maybe hear from my voice that I'm kind of out of it. I am not a slave to my routines, but I love my routines. And if I don't get to, especially my morning routines, if I don't do my morning routines, man, it's like not a productive day, not a productive morning for me. But you can check out my morning routine for Puerto Rico. I'll include a link to that in the show notes as well. Season 9, I want to get back into some guest episodes. I want to start bringing some guests on. I already recorded a podcast with Fourth Frontier. It's a heart rate monitor. And I've already recorded a little episode with Pitch Logic. And I'm going to be doing some more podcasting with the boys here at our hotel that we stay at. So that's going to be fun. Season 9, I also want to do more deep dives into the mental game. I want to do more deep dives into the life of a ball player, the life of an athlete, but like outside of the clubhouse, outside of the field, right? I want to talk about strategies and routines and practices you can implement as an athlete to just kind of get the most out of your body and mind throughout the season. I want to spend some time on that throughout season 9. But here we are, season 9. I haven't done an episode in almost a year. It's been a long time. All right, so back to the bulleted points. We'll start with why I didn't play. last summer. I know what you did last summer. This love's like to me, there's no weather. Anyways, but in order for me to talk about why I didn't play last summer, I actually have to start with my Winterball experience last year. And this goes hand in hand to a lot of the podcasts that I've been doing in years past about putting yourself in the best possible situation and position to have success and to accomplish your goals. And for a pitcher, I've said this before, train stuff over everything. Stuff. The nastiness of your stuff. I'm talking fastball velocity. I'm talking off-speed movement profiles, spin rates, freaking all that hoopla stuff. Why? So last Winterball experience, and this is what I'm about to say, like I want to preface by literally saying this is no disrespect to anyone involved, any organization that is involved in this story. I am not upset, mad, irritated, like annoyed. Like this is part of the job, and it's actually a really good insight for a lot of the kids and people watching or listening to this episode to get a viewpoint for like the reality of professional sports. Okay, so started Winterball here last year. I pitched until my birthday, so I pitched until December 15th. And aside from my last outing, I think I had a sub-2 ERA, but including my last outing in which I gave up 2 or 3 earned runs in about an inning and change, I went to a middle 2, I think a 2.6 or whatever. So I finished my Winterball season with like a 2.6 ERA. And the reason why I say so obviously, like the numbers from an ERA standpoint and like a walks per standpoint, a whip, I was doing really well. But I think my velocity was like 88, 90, maybe 91, and I wasn't striking anyone out. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I could potentially get those. And it's interesting because everyone's so quick to look at like ERA as a key indicator of how somebody's pitching. And organizations don't typically look at that, like, or even think that way. So the biggest reason why I was on the inactive list, because when push comes to shove and you throw a guy out there, you know, middle of the game, late in the game, whatever, like you want to have as a coach a sense of confidence that this guy can miss bats. You don't want to leave it up to chance, or you don't want to leave it up to defense sometimes, especially back end bullpen stuff. So that's why it's always important, guys, like train that stuff, because that's something that's going to be there consistently. And that's why I think, you know, you're seeing it over and over again with guys with high ERAs, you know, getting opportunities after opportunities. And it's because of their stuff, dude. It's just the simplistic approach of like, all right, well, the reaction time is going to be way less, which is essentially allowing for more room for air as a pitcher, right? And we can't argue that. And as a professional in my 12th year now, or when it happened, my 12th year, I was completely on the same page. I had known that whole year that I wasn't missing bats, and I felt as if my stuff was okay. It was okay enough to have success and miss barrels, but I just wasn't missing bats. And there's such a good lesson to be had there, because I think at first glance, you're sitting there like, frick, there's a lot to do. Like, I want to reach my goals and make my dream become a reality. Like there's a lot of work I got to put in. Absolutely, dude. That's why there's only X amount of players that have ever played in the freaking big leagues, right? And that's what makes it so dang precious. But last year was a really good experience for me to go through that, because it was just like something I had never really experienced. You got to also take in the fact that I was coming from a 2022 season in which I was the pitching coach and a starting pitcher for the Boulders, and my numbers were terrible, like all across the board. High ERA, high walks. I don't know if it was high walks, but whatever. High home runs, high extra base hits, high whip. low strikeouts. And so I put in a good amount of work throughout that, I think what's 4 to 6 weeks I had after the Boulder season before Winterball, got my velocity up a little bit and then went in. And I just think it's one of those things, man. Like, I sit here and talk about all the time how I'm so passionate about this sport and I love this sport. And that's going to be my foundation for propelling me to do all the little things and put in the extra hours and wake up early and do all the stuff that needs to be done to blah, 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 blah. But at the same time, dude, like, I'm a human being. You know, I got done with that Winterball season, and I'll tell you what, I don't know if this is selfish or not. I don't mean this, what I'm about to say, in any selfish intention. I'll tell you what, the hardest thing in my career probably was celebrating a championship, knowing that I didn't even get to play in the playoffs. And that was just such a weird dynamic because on one hand, I had this emotional connection to a lot of the players and just this sense of like so happy for these guys, just being with these guys each and every day. And some of the players, like, you know, were out there because I got them, you know, a job out there, and talked to my GM beforehand. And it was just so cool to see that side of it. And then on the other side, it was like, dang, like I kind of feel weird right now celebrating. And obviously that's a lot of, you know, personal insecurities. But as I mentioned earlier, I'm a freaking human being, you know, and it's cool because I think those opportunities and those moments that you get in your life are really good opportunities to grow, right? It's like, it's uncomfortable. And I think within uncomfort, there's a lot of opportunity to grow. So that was a weird experience, but it kind of just took me into this season of my life that wasn't necessarily like a vendetta against baseball per se. I still love the game. And like I said, I didn't play for a team throughout the summer of 2023, but I still played every day. Like I took on some in-person clients, did a lot of lessons, got my family up there, did PFPs. We hit a few times. We did live ABs, and it was just fun. It was like being a kid again, you know, and kind of reigniting that. Not that my passion had simmered down, if you will, but it was just like kind of, man, this is nice. You know, like a little disconnect, got to focus on some other areas and avenues in my life that I hold at a high importance. Got to spend more time with my family, which is always a good reset from, you know, the stresses of everyday life as a professional athlete. So it was just really good. Like, would I have loved to play during the summer? Absolutely. I had a few offers that I didn't think were the right fit, and we moved on. But it was the first time I didn't play since 2019. And the reason I didn't play in 2019 was that I blew my lat out. So it was actually the first time I hadn't played a season while fully healthy, which is interesting. I hope my sauna didn't just turn off, because I just remembered that I have to restart the little thing every hour. And I'm pretty sure it's off. So that's a terrible start to this. Frick. Will you guys hold, please, while I go turn it back on? 10-4. I think that's the right spot. I can't zip up my sauna blanket because I'm too tall, but I try to scoot over and get this thing over my right arm. So I didn't play. Is that where we're at? I didn't play in the summer of 2023. That kind of led me into this beautiful finding of freaking throwing from 3 arm slots. So if you guys haven't been following my stuff, I'll tell you how the origin started. It was kind of neat, actually. I had a few clients that reached out to me that, or potential clients, they weren't clients at the time, reached out to me about like throwing submarine, throwing sidearm, all these things. And I have a really good understanding of the overhead throw, the 3/4 throw, sidearm throw a little bit. And then I'll be honest, like with the submarine throw, I was kind of just like, okay, I think this is, you know, I think I have a pretty good foundation of my understanding and what you got to do from a movement perspective to generate power output. But I was like, what the heck, dude? Like, I'm in the summer. I'm not, you know, I don't have to compete or whatever. Like, I'm going to go out to the park for the next week or so, and I'm going to throw from like different angles just to get these different feelings. And I'm a big feels guy. For me, that's how I've learned a lot of what I've learned about pitching mechanics is just like self-evaluation, self-experimentation, jotting down like the feelings that I get, playing around with different movements, different things, patterns, and then like kind of piggybacking off that and drill progressions, throw variations. And then obviously everyone's movements feedback is a little bit different. So you kind of just trial and error. But so I went up to the park with intentions of just kind of experimenting with different arm angles to create these feelings or create an environment of feelings to like better equip myself to be able to coach and instruct various types of throwers, right? And so that turned into like, holy smokes, I love this thing. And now I've been doing like what I would call arm path deviation throwing for like ever since 2019, coming back from lat surgery. And what arm path deviation throwing is essentially like athletic task completion, where you're playing catch, you feel the backhand, you feel the ground ball, you side shuffle, you cross your hands, you go over the head, you throw submarine, you throw over the top, you throw sidearm, make a play in the 6 hole, throw off your right foot, throw off your left foot, turn around, pick-offs, inside moves, whatever it is, just like you change the way that your arm and hand have to travel through space in accordance with where your body is. And you just complete the task. And what I have found from that has been this undeniable truth of I am able to repeat any slot on a dime, whatever you would use there. I have a nose itch right now because the sweat gland just like stopped in the middle of my nose, and it's really annoying. This is how I do mental skills training, guys. I just get these like little itches in the sauna, and I'm just like, oh, breathe through it, mentally overcome it. Even though I just didn't do that, I just itched it. But anyways, yeah, so I've been doing arm path deviation training, taking ground balls, throwing home from the outfield. I've been doing that for a long time, but I had never done like intentionally deviating arm slots from like a pitching mechanics. And so it started, I want to say, middle of July. And then fast forward to September, beginning of September, getting a call from my Winterball GM and asking like what the plan was, interest in coming out, XYZ. And it was so funny because like I knew that the season was coming up. And that's another thing that I could talk about is like how fast time goes by when there's no baseball. Holy cow. But anyways, I knew it was coming up. And honestly, I just hadn't really nose itch. There it is. I hadn't put much thought into, man, is this going to be something I'm going to do during games? But after I talked to my Winterball GM and there was an interest from both parties about playing another season, I was like, well, I better figure out if this thing is sustainable, if this thing is like repeatable and I can actually have the stones to do this in a game. So I started doing live ABs and started competing a little bit, and holy smokes, man. It's kind of like, it's interesting because I talked earlier about like my passion for baseball has never really wavered. I've always loved the game. I haven't always loved like the business side of things. And, that can leave a bad taste in your mouth a lot of times, and it can skew your perception on the sport itself and the game itself, but it doesn't really take it to a different level. Now, I'd say this, it like reignited this sense of joy and longing for the game that I haven't really had in a while. I had that in 2019. Anytime you step away from something, right? Anytime you spend time away from something that you had loved, and then kind of just the candle burns out, and then you come back to it, it's like, it's really good. It's really nice. And that's where I was at, I'd say, coming into Winterball. I'm starting to get into that sweat phase too, guys, where it's like you break is it called breaking the seal? I don't know, but you break that initial sweat gland, and then it's like a waterfall nonstop. Here we go. Boom, boom, boom. Speaking of waterfalls, higher dose sauna blanket. That's what I'm in. I'll put the discount link in the description or the show notes. If you guys go to therobbyrowshow.com/product discounts, product discounts is one word. I have all my discounts there, including this higher dose sauna blanket. I am getting a PEMF mat from them also. I'm stoked. So where was I? Back to the story. So yeah, I started doing live ABs from 3 slots. The original intention was to do like 1 slot over the top, right? Like pretty OG. The other slot from 3/4, which if you guys are like avid fans and followers, you guys know that I've done drop down Rob experiments on, I think, 4 different occasions. I've done them during the season. I've done them during the off season, done them for live ABs. And it's kind of just something that I've gone back to here and there. Then I wanted one more slot. That was like this deceptive, funky, uncomfortable dynamic. So here's the thing. This is a good conversation too. My entire career, I would say, I wouldn't say my entire career. I'd probably say since I was 19, because when I was 18, when I first got drafted at 18, I went and played rookie ball. Like I threw well, but since 19 and since the idea of I have to perfect my pitching mechanics came into my mind, hitters have always told me that I'm very comfortable. I'm a very comfortable at bat, meaning my mechanics are repeatable. They're smooth. There's no really hiccups. There's no hitches. The timing is kind of easy to pick up in flow with the hitter's timing. There's nothing I do from a mechanical standpoint that is deceiving, that's uncomfortable, right? Like I'm a linear guy. I don't crossfire. I used to have a bigger glove side. I used to have more of a stab. I used to have a longer path, whatever you want to call it. But, I've been a very comfortable at bat for quite some time. And that changed a little bit when I went to the bullpen and I started throwing, 100 miles an hour. But in terms of the mechanical aspect of it, I've always been pretty comfortable. And what I mean by comfortable is there's no movement in my delivery that the hitter isn't or hasn't like seen, right? Because the more reps you get with timing for different guys, just the more comfortable their eyes are and their brain is when they're in the box. More sweat. So the idea was I wanted like one slot, even if it was just like me dropping it down one time per at bat. I wanted one slot that was just so funky and so like different and uncomfortable that I was just going to probably draw a lot of takes. So the idea was never to really go submarine per se, but it was to do something drastically different than the other 2 slots, which over the top, it's smooth. 3/4, it's smooth. I'd say even the 3/4 drop down Rob is even smoother than over the top because it kind of is a little flowy, more rhythmic. So yeah, the idea stemmed from just like wanting something super different and deviate just to get guys off the other slots that I had envisioned me going to more often, right? And then fast forward to now, and yesterday I just had, I think, my 5th Winterball experience. I just had my 5th Winterball outing, and I'll have to go back to the videos, honestly, and look at like the percentages of what slot that I'm using. But shoot, man, it's probably 33% across the board. It's been actually really interesting, exciting, fun. Holy smokes, is it fun, guys. Remember I was talking about like that reignition? Wow. Hot and fresh out the kitchen, mama. No. That reignition of like the joy and fun and like the looking forward to competing. Everyone that's listening to this, it's like pitched before. I think you guys understand this. Like when you're going bad, or not even when you're going bad, but just like when your stuff doesn't feel electric as it has been at another point in your career, it's just something missing. And it feels like you're consistently searching and seeking and reaching out for that one thing. And when you do that, you miss out on like the enjoying of the moment. Dude, I'm in the middle of a freaking pod. Look at this. Go ahead and get in it, dude.
Pod?
I'm podding in the sauna blanket.
I bet I didn't freaking knock then.
Oh, no. I don't really need you to knock. But, hey, guys, Harmless just walked in. How long does it say I've been recording? Because I have no perception of time in here.
4 days. 29 minutes, 33 seconds.
Really?
Yeah.
Only like 4 eyeball itches, too. Thanks for getting that.
Yeah.
Dude, it's raining.
Dude, it's pouring.
And I just told the show, I was like, dude, this is the first time in my experience staying at the Hoyita that it's been like this in the morning. Not once have I ever had rain in the morning to where I couldn't go out to the beach. I don't know what to do with myself. That's why I'm doing a podcast in a sauna blanket. Discount code Robby. Lives are banged.
Yeah, that and it looks like back home, like when it rains. Like it's just gray.
Yeah.
And gray.
Yeah, I'm actually just not even going to look outside because I don't want my eyes to see that freaking...
Yeah, don't. It's depression.
Yeah. Hey, do you want a pod?
Wait a second.
No, like tonight? Because Danny wanted a pod, Brett wanted a pod. And then I was like, well, shoot, how do we pod? I only brought one set of Rhodes. And then the DJs aren't reliable because they operate at a different wavelength.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't either. I don't even think I brought the pod track. I guess what we could do is turn up the dBs to like the Rode, the receiver to like 0, and then just put the 2 transmitters like on different sides of the room where different people are.
Right.
But then you'll probably get echoes.
Yeah.
Speaking of echoes, I was like, shoot, I can't record this episode and have all the doors closed because you're supposed to have like a door open to like not block the sound. But everyone was sleeping. I was like, I don't know how this is going to sound. But it's right on my lips. And I'm talking in a very stizzy podcast voice.
Very much in a podcast voice.
Because actually, I hadn't really said a word until I hit record. And then I was like, hey, guys, this is my 5th take at season 9, episode 1. That's a little time lapse over there.
What's the topic of the pod?
It's the season 9 intro, talking about everything, like giving some kids some advice on striking out guys so they don't get put on the inactive list.
Avoid the field.
Throwing from 3 slots. Oh, for those of you guys who don't know, Harmless is out here with me in Puerto Rico.
Okay.
It's been amazing. He's the best. All right, let me outro this mother fricker.
I'll see you on the flip.
Yeah, you will. The blip? Don't get blipped. Where were we? Whoa. So this camera that I'm using right now is going to die. Harmless just brought in the bigger camera, so that won't die, but this one will die. So I need to outro this. I need to end this. I just wanted to give you guys a little update P on this dynamic, but what I was saying about the slots is like, I'm pretty even. I'll go back. Today's an off day, so I'm going to create a good amount of YouTube videos today, showcase game outings and whatnot, do some voiceovers. I got to do a lot of content today, boys. Holy smokes. But anyways, with that being said, welcome to season 9. And I hope you guys stay around. This is going to get more in depth. Don't worry. I don't plan on doing every one of my season 9 episodes in a sauna blanket. But it's just a good way to get this bad boy out there. So without further ado, guys, be sure to be on the lookout on my YouTube channel. Be sure to be on the lookout on my gram, my talk tick, and we'll go from there. But yeah, man, outing breakdowns back. I'm excited for you guys to see this new Rob. It's been fun, man. Hopefully I can get some more strikeouts. Last night I've been walking a lot of people though. And by a lot, I mean 1 an outing. That's kind of the fine line that I'm managing right now is the balance between seeking strikeouts, right? Like seeking missed bats, but then like not pitching to contact. Because I feel myself, like last night was a good example. I think there was 2 particular at-bats in which I got like 0-2, 1-2, and then they went to 3-2. And it's like that idea of trying to get a strikeout, trying to miss a bat, for me personally, has always restricted my strikeout stuff. Like if I just stay consistent in a mindset of it's 1-1, I'm sure that pitch would be much better executed. You know, there's a little bit of hesitancy, right? Like, I don't want you to hit this. Don't even foul it off. Don't hit this. And then it's like, it's not a competitive pitch. So that's what I'm kind of balancing right now is the aggression in leverage counts. All right, I'm going to go now. Cold shower. I'm actually going to go run in the rain. That sounds fun. Love you guys. God bless. I'll include a link to the YouTube channel that live streams our Winterball games as well. And as always, reach out to me, therobbyrowshow.com/ask, ASK, for any questions, comments. Love to talk to you guys. All right, guys. See ya. I'm going to go sweat more. Higher dose sauna blanket. Discount code Robby with a Y. Geek. We gotta shut you off now.